Imagine this. You're over 60 trying to do everything right. You eat your veggies, you pass on the donuts, and you stick to healthy choices. But what if I told you that some of those foods, yes, the ones you've been told to eat, are quietly, slowly, and almost invisibly damaging your liver every single day? And what if this damage is happening without pain, without obvious symptoms until one day it's too late? What if the very food you thought was helping you live longer was actually cutting your years short? In this video, we're uncovering the truth behind 8 everyday foods that might be sabotaging your liver health after 60. You'll find out why low fat doesn't always mean healthy, how one specific oil you probably use daily can silently wreak havoc on your liver cells, and what popular breakfast item can act more like a toxin than nourishment. The best part? You'll walk away with simple swaps that could radically improve your energy, digestion, memory, and even your skin. Stick with me to the end, and you'll finally understand what the food industry doesn't want you to know about so-called healthy eating. If you care about your health, your energy, and your longevity, hit that subscribe button now so you don't miss videos like this. Let's get into it. Have you ever noticed how the older we get, the more advice we get from every direction? Doctors say one thing, nutritionists say another. The internet, well, it says everything, but no one tells you this. After age 60, your liver isn't working like it did when you were 30, and that changes the game completely. Your liver is the ultimate multitasker. It detoxifies, regulates hormones, balances blood sugar, and breaks down fats. But over time, it gets slower, less resilient, and more vulnerable. And if you're eating certain foods, even ones labeled as healthy, you may be feeding a slow, silent fire inside that organ. A fire that doesn't make a sound until the damage is done. So what are these foods? Let's start with one that might already be in your fridge right now. Vegetable oils. Sounds innocent, right? Even healthy? After all, the label says heart healthy. But here's the truth. Most common vegetable oils like soybean, corn, and canola are highly processed, unstable under heat, and packed with omega-6 fatty acids. Now, omega-6 isn't inherently bad. We need some, but balance is everything. And when we overload on omega-6 and don't get enough omega-3, what happens? Inflammation. Chronic liver-straining inflammation. A study from the Journal of Clinical Investigation found that high intake of linoleic acid and omega-6 fatty acid, common in vegetable oils, directly contributed to fatty liver development in mice. And guess what? Most Americans get over 10 times more omega-6 than they need, especially in processed foods and salad dressings you think are healthy. Think that drizzle of dressing on your salad is helping you? It could be doing more damage than a slice of cake. And the worst part? This doesn't feel like anything. You won't feel tired after eating it. You won't bloat. You won't get a headache. That's what makes it dangerous. It's the quiet breakdown, the invisible fatigue in your cells, the slow erosion of your liver's ability to regenerate. But it gets worse. Now let's talk about the so-called healthy breakfast that's been on every heart-healthy list since the 90s. Whole grain cereals. You might think it's the smarter choice compared to sugary alternatives. But here's the thing, they spike your blood sugar just as fast. Your liver has to work overtime converting that sugar and starch into fat if it can't be used immediately. And with age, insulin sensitivity drops. That means your body gets worse at handling sugar. So what used to be fine is now toxic over time. Studies show that diets high in refined carbohydrates, even if they're whole grain, can lead to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, NAFLD, which affects nearly 25% of adults worldwide. And many don't even know they have it until it progresses to fibrosis or worse. Now ask yourself, how many healthy breakfasts have you had this week that came from a box? You're not alone. That's the trap. And the cereal companies? They know it. Here's where it gets really interesting. Remember how we used to fear fat? That led to a boom in low-fat everything. But fat wasn't the problem. It was sugar. And when manufacturers took the fat out, what did they replace it with? Yep, sugar, often hidden as evaporated cane juice or brown rice syrup. Sounds healthy? Isn't. Your liver doesn't care what the label says. It sees one thing, fructose. And fructose, unlike glucose, has to be metabolized almost entirely by the liver. Fructose overload is one of the leading dietary causes of fatty liver disease. It's metabolized like alcohol. Yes, like alcohol. And we're giving it to kids, to seniors, to everyone, wrapped in healthy labels. One study in hepatology showed that high fructose intake, especially from drinks and low-fat snacks, significantly worsened liver markers even in otherwise healthy individuals. So those granola bars and light yogurts, they might be tricking your taste buds and your health goals at the same time. Let's pause for a second. How do you know if your liver is even in trouble? It's not always about pain or fatigue. Sometimes it's dry eyes or itchy skin. A bloated belly you can't seem to lose no matter how much you walk or how little you eat, or that annoying brain fog that sneaks in around 3 p.m. Could all of that be your liver waving a white flag? By the way, have you had a blood test recently? If your liver enzymes are creeping up, even slightly, that's your signal. If your triglycerides are high or your HDL is low, it's another clue. But even if your labs look okay, you can still be on the path to liver damage, because by the time liver disease is visible in tests, it's often already advanced. So let's talk about what you can do right now, today. Start by removing that processed health food, the ones with health halos, low-fat, gluten-free, or fortified with vitamins that still contain sugar, seed oils, and additives. Next, switch to whole, unprocessed fats like avocado oil or olive oil. These are stable, anti-inflammatory, and liver-friendly. They help your cells function and repair instead of attacking them. Choose breakfasts that stabilize blood sugar instead of spiking it. Eggs with sautéed spinach, chia pudding with cinnamon, even leftovers from dinner can be a better option than most boxed cereals or toast. And drink water. Your liver needs hydration to function. Skip the juice. Skip the sports drinks. You're not deficient in electrolytes. You're dehydrated from processed food. What you put on your fork today could either push your liver toward healing or keep it stuck in a slow decline. But here's what I really want to leave you with. This isn't about perfection. It's about awareness. Because when you understand how your liver works and how foods labeled as healthy can undermine it, you get your power back. You become your own best advocate. You stop being the target of misleading labels. You stop letting the food industry gamble with your health. You start choosing foods that love your liver back. That's the power of knowledge, and that's what no one's telling you. Not your doctor, not the label, not even your favorite health magazine. If you're over 50 and your joints ache when you get out of bed, go upstairs or just try to enjoy a walk. It's not your age, and it's not your fault. The real issue? Your body's running out of a natural substance that cushions your joints like a shock absorber. And most supplements out there, glucosamine, collagen, all of it, don't fix this. But now, researchers have discovered a breakthrough that can actually restore what your joints are missing. And people in their 60s, 70s, even 80s are seeing real relief. If you're feeling stiff, sore, or weaker lately, stop guessing. Check the link in the pinned comment now. Let's keep going, because the next few foods might surprise you even more. Now, I want you to think about this next one, something almost everyone considers a heart-healthy staple: nuts. More specifically, flavored or roasted nuts. You've probably heard they're full of good fats, fiber, and protein. And yes, raw or dry roasted nuts in moderation can be a great choice. But here's the catch. Many commercial nuts are coated in seed oils and hidden sugars. Ever check the label on a can of mixed nuts or even those healthy snack packs at the store? Ingredients often include cottonseed oil, sunflower oil, or corn syrup solids. That means you're taking a perfectly healthy food and dunking it into liver-damaging territory. Over time, these added oils and sugars feed systemic inflammation, raise triglycerides, and tax your liver just like ultra-processed foods. A 2020 paper published in Nutrients confirmed that highly processed snack foods, yes, even ones dressed up as natural, are among the top contributors to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease in adults over 60. So next time you reach for nuts, ask, are these clean or coated in a cocktail of liver stress? Let's go deeper. This next one might make you raise an eyebrow. Fresh squeezed juice. Yes, even orange juice. You think it's a smart way to start the day, packed with vitamins, a little immune boost. But here's what's really happening. That juice, even with no added sugar, is a concentrated shot of fructose. And remember, fructose goes straight to your liver, no detours. Unlike fiber-rich whole fruit, juice has no buffer. It floods your bloodstream, spikes your insulin, and burdens your liver with a quick jolt of sugar it has to process immediately. If you're over 60 and your insulin sensitivity has declined, this hit is even harder. Let this sink in. One glass of orange juice can contain as much sugar as a can of soda. The difference? Marketing. One wears a health halo, the other wears a warning label. Your liver doesn't see the difference. And now, the food you've been told all your life to eat more of: whole wheat bread. Heart healthy, they say. Full of fiber, they claim. But let's break this down. First, whole wheat bread is still highly processed. The fiber content? Minimal. The glycemic index? Still high. And most commercial wheat is genetically modified and sprayed with glyphosate, a chemical now being studied for its possible impact on liver function and gut microbiome disruption. Research published in Environmental Health Perspectives showed a potential link between glyphosate exposure and liver dysfunction, particularly non-alcoholic fatty liver. So if your morning toast is doused in this chemical, or if your sandwich is wrapped in what you think is a healthy grain, it could still be triggering inflammation, insulin resistance, and fatty buildup in your liver cells. Ask yourself, when did bread become health food? And what has changed in our wheat over the last 40 years? The answer is almost everything. Let's take a breath. This might feel overwhelming, but remember, we're here for clarity, not guilt. We can't change what we didn't know, but now we do. And knowledge gives us leverage. So what can you eat instead? If you're craving something crunchy, skip the crackers. Try slices of cucumber, celery with almond butter, or even thin-cut zucchini chips roasted with olive oil. If breakfast feels incomplete without toast, swap to a sprouted grain alternative, or better yet, consider going grain-free a few days, a week, and see how your digestion, energy, and mood respond. And if you've been drinking juice every morning, try infusing water with citrus slices or herbs like mint and ginger. You'll still get flavor without the sugar overload. Now here's one that feels like a betrayal: low-fat dairy. For years, we were told to choose skim milk, fat-free yogurt, and low-fat cheese. Why? Because fat was the enemy, but science has evolved, and now we know better. Removing fat from dairy increases the sugar content or leads to the addition of thickeners, starches, and artificial sweeteners, all of which can throw off your liver's balance. A 2019 study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that full-fat dairy consumption was associated with better liver enzyme profiles than low-fat varieties, especially in older adults. Turns out, the fat was helping regulate absorption, hormone balance, and satiety. So that low-fat yogurt you've been spooning up each morning, it might be spiking your insulin and burdening your liver far more than you realize. Meanwhile, a full-fat Greek yogurt, unsweetened, is more stabilizing, more nutrient-dense, and much less processed. The final food we need to talk about might be the most surprising. It's one of the most widely accepted healthy sweeteners today: agave nectar. Marketed as a natural low-glycemic sweetener, it's become a favorite in health-conscious recipes and clean desserts. But agave is up to 90% fructose, significantly higher than even high-fructose corn syrup. This means that teaspoon for teaspoon, agave puts more stress on your liver than sugar itself. It doesn't raise blood glucose as much. True, but that's because it bypasses blood sugar and gets dumped right into liver metabolism, promoting fat buildup and oxidative stress. According to the Journal of Hepatology, diets high in fructose, especially from concentrated sources like agave, lead to more rapid onset of liver fibrosis and insulin resistance in people over 60. So while you may feel like you're making a smarter choice, you might be accelerating damage without even knowing it. Here's what this all boils down to: the foods we've been told to eat. Low-fat dairy, whole grain bread, fruit juice, heart-healthy oils, they've been carefully branded, marketed, and promoted. But for the aging liver, for a body that's been working hard for decades, these foods can shift from helpful to harmful. It doesn't mean you can never touch them, but it does mean you need to understand them, to recognize that a healthy label doesn't equal a healthy outcome. Because your liver doesn't read labels, it reads chemistry. Sugar is sugar. Inflammation is inflammation, and healing starts the moment you start paying attention. Now, I want to ask you something. How many of these foods are part of your regular routine? How many have you trusted for years to help you feel better, live longer, stay strong? You're not alone. We've all been sold the same stories, but here's where the story changes. Because now you have clarity. You know the quiet signs of liver strain. You know the surprising foods that might be the culprits. And most importantly, you know what to do next. If this made you rethink even one food in your kitchen, just imagine what else you haven't been told yet. If you're serious about your health, your energy, and your future, the next video on screen will blow your mind. Watch it now, your liver will thank you.